here's what I'm going to ask you. Do you want to start out with the good or the bad? Because there was a lot of good, but there was also things to be annoyed with.
Yeah, I want to start out with what Travis Konecny said. I just want to know did you talk to him and what the hell just happened?
Did he self-immolate after the game?
We did not talk to him because the way that post-game interviews work is that you ask for guys for the names to be put on the board with about like 5 minutes left in regulation. So at the time, we had no idea that Travis Konecny was going to make the big turnover that loses them in the game in overtime. And at that point, the chances of him being like, I'm willingly going to talk about making this mistake, probably not. If he wasn't on the board already, he's not going to want to be on the board and talk about that. Look, that's a frustrating mistake, of course. But it's one of those physical mistakes. Like, you whiffed on a puck. It sucks. I get fans rightfully should be angry that the highest paid player on the team makes a mistake that glaring. That said, it happens. It's hockey. Guys make mistakes. I think John Tortorella after the game on the ESPN broadcast, he basically was like, "Look, he's a wing nut." Use that word specifically. You just kind of have to let Travis Konecny do what Travis Konecny does, and at the end of the year in aggregate, it's going to be a lot more positives than negatives, but you're never going to remove all the negatives from his game because he's a chaos merchant, and that's just the way he plays. Tonight, we got the negative of chaos merchant Travis Konecny. The chaos went in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that was basically almost our exact talk. Very frustrating. If he had done anything except pick it up and throw it in his own net, it would have been better than what he did. But I guess you whiff sometimes. It's just that time and spot and the guy in front of him. It couldn't have been more. Couldn't have been more fatal. But it's happens, right? But the first 60 minutes. They went toe-to-toe with a legit Stanley Cup contender, score the same, shots on goal the same every period. I was overall impressed with the way they kind of, for a lot of the game, looked like a bit of the better team than Vegas. What did you think?
I thought the Flyers 5-on-5 play in this game was great. I thought they played a really good game. Now, granted, I'm grading them on a bit of a curve because I think Vegas is the more talented, certainly the more battle-tested team. So, if I'm Vegas, I'm not thinking man, we played great. I'm thinking, man, we should be better than this team, and we weren't. But the fact that the Flyers played them even at 5-on-5, it was impressive. They finish about even in expected goals at 5-on-5. And what I did like about their 5-on-5 play specifically, it wasn't even just that they played with withdrawal, which is impressive given where the Flyers are at in terms of their rebuild and where Vegas is at in terms of trying to win championships. What really impressed me was that we know how Vegas wants to play. Vegas wants to play a heavy game. They want to play along the boards. They want to win puck battles. They want to play dump and chase. They want to play their style because they believe if they play their style, they're going to beat teams. The Flyers played their style. They played Vegas's style, and they basically matched them. That's impressive. It's kind of if you want to beat Colorado, you probably have to slow them down. Because if you try to if you try to trade chances with Colorado, you're going to lose. Well, this was like trading chances with Colorado and not losing, or losing in overtime. They played Vegas's way and weren't outmatched. And given the fact that Vegas, this is their specialty, to hang with a team when you're playing their specialty style, that's pretty impressive. So I liked a lot, if not pretty much all, what I saw from them at 5-on-5. Now, the power play and overtime, not so much, but 5-on-5, I'll praise them. They played really well against a tough opponent.
Is one shot on 3 power plays good?
Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad.
I agree.
Not great. Yeah, so the power play, I want to get into this because
please.
My frustration point more than anything is that third power play, the one they get with 4:48 left in the third. But it is worth pointing out that those first 2 power plays were also disasters. And of course, we pressed Rick Tocchet on it after the game because it's controversial. You have a chance with less than 5 minutes remaining in regulation to pull an upset regulation win over a cup contender, and instead of just rolling with your regular power play unit, you change it up. You remove Owen Tippett, you remove Matvei Michkov from the power play unit, so now you've got a unit that wasn't playing together throughout the game and has 2 fewer players that are some of your best offensive players, your most talented offensive players. My first thought was he did it because he's playing for the point. He wants to avoid a turnover going the other way, and he's playing it safe because he wants to secure the point against a team that is better than the Flyers on paper and isn't even in their conference. So it's no big deal that you turn it into a a 3-point game. That was my first thought. So Kevin Kurz and I pressed Tocchet on it, and Tochet's first response was, did you see the first 2 power plays? So he held that the reason why he changed up the unit was because they were real bad on the first 2 power plays. It actually seemed like he was more critical of Tippett than Michkov, because he specifically said, like, the flankers, aside from Zegras, need to do a better job. And Michkov's been, like, the net front guy. Tippett's been the other flanker. So it seems like the frustration really is on Tippett. Now, why you also had to take Michkov off the unit, not quite sure. But it seems like there was more frustration with Tippett's work on the flank than Michkov's work at the net front. But again, it's odd to take 2 of your most talented offensive players off the unit in a tie game with less than 5 minutes remaining. You have the chance to win the game in regulation right there. Instead, you create essentially nothing because you purposely weakened your power play. Then I pushed, and I was like, I basically said, like, look, you see those guys getting taken off the unit. My first thought was, were you guys, trying to, play it safer and avoid odd man rushes, and I was like, and that wasn't your thought process. Is that what you're saying? And he's like, basically, he said something to the extent of like, well, I wanted to try to, reconstitute that line, so he puts Brink and Cates on the line. And then he basically was like, look, you guys can write what you want. I don't care. So if I had to guess, I would guess number one, it was related to the fact that the first 2 power plays stunk. It was like, well, you got to change it up. But I have to believe that at least part of it was probably that, yeah, he's thinking like, I can't trust the power play to score because it looks like crap. Might as well just make sure we avoid getting a shorthanded goal against by having Cates and Brink, who are both more, I would say, defensively reliable players than Michkov and Tippett. I get where he's coming from. I just disagree. Like, I just disagree fundamentally with the idea of pulling Michkov and Tippett off that power play. Like, give yourself a better chance to win. Like, don't play not to lose, play to win. And on that power play, you have a better chance of scoring a goal if Michkov and Tippett are on that unit as opposed to Cates and Brink. And I like Cates and Brink a lot. I like them both as players, but Tippett and Michkov are more talented offensive players. They just are. And I think look, given the way the power play was running today, they probably wouldn't have scored anyway. But I think you have a better chance if they're on that unit for that power play, and they weren't.
We have said all along, like going back to even, was it the 3rd game of the season where Zegras makes that just one great play to set up the Coots goal. Like, that's what elite talent allows.
Yeah.
Even when things aren't maybe going the best, one play. It just takes one, and you lessened your opportunity at that. I found that power play decision to be pretty ridiculous, Charlie. Not to mention just under 4 minutes overall in the 3rd period, as if they were protecting a lead and didn't still need to win the game. But whatever. This is the way Taco's coaching them, I guess. Charlie, I did want to ask about something good. That Zegras goal in the 1st period. That real nice give and go play. Sanheim's drifting towards the left point, finds him on the far side. I feel like they tried it again with Dvorak the next time in overtime. Do you think that's one of those set plays that we've heard about this team is starting to get more into as they've been opened up a little bit more in the offensive zone with Tocchet's playbook?
I didn't get the sense that it was because number one, we talked to Sanheim after the game, asked him about the play. It didn't seem like he was, running a set play. It was just that he, couldn't find a man on the left side and then figures, well, I'll give it a shot. Sees Zegras, boom, great pass by Sanheim. You're talking about the play in the overtime, though. That definitely was not a set play because Rick Tocchet specifically brought it up as like Sanheim's got to take that shot. That was an example from Tocchet's perspective of our best players have to be more assertive. They have to make plays in key moments. And he's like, Sanheim has that puck in the middle. Like, he's got to shoot that. He can't pass that off to Dvorak. So very much not a set play if the coach after the game is saying, you shouldn't have passed that puck.
No. Okay, cool. Got that answer. We just talked about the power play. They have struggled to find a good quarterback for it. Hear me out on this. Noah Juleson.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a bomb. That was a bomb of a shot.
Sure
It was funny. If you're talking though about power play options, it's abundantly clear that Tocchet is intrigued by the idea of trying Risto up there because he's like, well, I've heard he's got a bomb of a shot. So when he comes back, maybe we'll give him a look. He straight up says that.
it was mentioned as a possibility on the broadcast, and I found that like, oh, that must have come directly from the coach because like this guy isn't playing and hasn't all year.
Yeah.
So we will see about that, Charlie. Grunstrom and Murchison stayed in the lineup tonight. What'd you think of their play?
Murchison I thought was fine. I mean, he had that really big hit in the beginning of the game, which was awesome. Aside from that, I thought he was fine. He wasn't standout, but he certainly wasn't bad. He looked like he belonged. Is that enough to keep him up once York and especially Risto are back? I doubt it, but he's certainly showing himself well in this this brief unexpected audition. So props to Ty Murchison. As for Gruncher, I mean, he gets an assist on the Juleson goal. So what? That's 2 straight games at the point for a fourth liner. I was surprised at the fact that Gulbenkian gets dropped down to the fourth line in the third period and they move Grunstrom up. That was surprising.
Yeah.
And not because I thought Grunstrom was bad. Like, and Tocchet was asked about that after the game. He basically said, I thought Grunstrom was really going. I wanted to get him more minutes. Fair. But I thought Gulbenkian was playing pretty well too.
Yeah.
I thought he was winning battles. I thought he was forechecking well. I thought he was keeping pucks alive. He was doing well against a team in Vegas that thrives on winning battles and playing a heavy game. I thought he was almost like just out heavying them, which was pretty cool to see. So it was surprising to me to see him drop to the fourth line, but maybe it was just as simple as I liked what I saw from Grunstrom from Tocchet's perspective, and somebody's got to move down to get him up there. So I'll move down the guy who has the least like cachet with me, and that was Gulbenkian.
All right. Yeah, I just like that line to me is like finally starting to come around a little. Like you put them together, it's okay, we're going to replace Forster. We'd broken that line up. We're going to put Cates and Brink together again. And all right, this is the closest thing we can give you to Forster. It's starting to come together and then you break it up like okay. All right.
No, I mean I'll be honest with you. Like and I don't think I don't think I come across as a Tocchet defender in general. I think it's just that like I don't actively despise him.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people seem to already. I don't think this was actually. You know what? Let me paraphrase. I mean, let me point out. I think this was a good game for the viability of Tocchet's on ice system. But I think in terms of in-game decision-making, this was not a good game from Rick Tocchet. I had a lot of issues with the in-game decision-making. It was a validation of the quality of his system, because if they can go head-to-head with Vegas, then clearly there's something right with the system. This is a really good team that they went toe-to-toe with at 5-on-5, but I disagree with a lot of the in-game decisions.